and welcome back to my channel. Today we have a very exciting video. I have been kind of slowly working on parts of my home and kind of updating it, rearranging it, all the fun stuff. I'm still working on it, but I feel like it's at a really good place to share with you guys. If you've been following for a while, you've seen me redo our living room and kind of update it. And then I also redid our bathroom and our bedroom a bit. I have been working on my office kind of all the time. I'm changing things, I'm trying things. It's like a revolving door. It's finally at a really good place right now. I have a couple more things I'm looking for, but it's just gonna take some time to find. So I really wanted to take you guys through my house, room by room, with the exception of Jacob's office. That one is just kind of the last of my priorities. We've done what we can with the space. It is a smaller room and he really doesn't use it that often. It's more of like where his clothes are, and then he has like a desk and stuff in there that are like his hobbies and whatnot, but we haven't really dove into that room yet, so I'll just keep that one under wraps for now, but the rest of the house I will share with you. What I think I'll do is I'll kind of do a little bit of an intro of each room and not like talk about every piece because I feel like that might get really long, but I'll kind of just give you a rundown of the space and what my vision was behind it and, you know, kind of the feeling I wanted for the room. What we'll do is we'll start with my office. This is where I spend the most amount of time. You guys see this room the most. I have the best light coming in here, and it's the best for when I'm doing a lot of my Etsy stuff or creating things and getting content, taking photos for Etsy, all of that kind of stuff. This is the best room for light. Naturally, I wanted to lay the space out in a way that I could utilize that light as much as possible. So you'll see how I have my desk laid out, kind of maximizes the light usage and also being able to look into the room. I have had a desk in here where I had it up against a wall and I was just looking at a wall, and that's not great for me creatively. I needed to be able to look into the space. And there is a video of an office update where I have me kind of playing with this room, especially with my desk, if you want to watch it. For the overall feel of the space, I wanted something really tranquil, really natural elements. I love having pressed flowers. I love foliage and just all the green. So I have a lot of plants in here. I wanted a lot of movement too with the pieces. So for instance, I will show you this big piece that I got a couple weeks ago. And this really kind of set the mood. I have been kind of working slowly on this room, getting the kind of feeling I wanted, but I hadn't found an art piece that really like spoke to me for it. So when I found this, I had to jump on it. It just incorporates a lot of the kind of dark moodiness that I love, but also the kind of whimsical kind of landscape with greens and creams, off-whites, that kind of thing. So I wanted that centered on this wall, and I tried to fill the space kind of softly with natural elements. I have dried eucalyptus and I have stems of different foliage and I have some propagations, and I really wanted it to be things found in nature. So that was kind of the jumping off point. This room is very multi-purpose for me. It's a yoga space, a meditation space where I make all my products for my Etsy and photograph them. I also love to read and have a space to do that and journal. So this room has a lot of uses. I wanted to make sure that I could do all those things and still have that kind of creativity that I can tap into. The reading nook that I have, if you saw in a previous video, I picked up this beautiful little like love seat lounge chair that comes with an ottoman. It's such a great size and it has the most beautiful kind of walnut wood accents to it. And when I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, I had to. It barely fit in my car. It was like fate. And I got it home and it fills this space so beautifully over here. I had a really small chair that was there before that, you know, it was nice, but it didn't really fit the space very well. And I also wanted somewhere I could kind of lounge a little bit longer than like 30 minutes. So it's definitely my favorite spot in here now. I am also in love with this William Morris picture that I picked up a couple weeks ago at the same time as the larger picture in here. I love having this kind of piece of history here, and the colors are absolutely beautiful in here. So it's just like this very muted, very simple picture, but it has so much movement, so much visual texture, and having it kind of next to other natural elements like the propagations, I think works really nicely. One thing I absolutely love is this ginkgo leaf sun catcher that I got. It casts the most beautiful rainbows all throughout my office. You can kind of see them throughout. You've probably caught a couple, and it just makes me happy. It's so cute to see these little rainbows. Okay guys, I'll be honest with you, it's the next day and I was in town. I stopped by my local Ross store just to kind of poke around, and I found this amazing little TV stand and I could not pass it up. So in the previous clip you saw the little like wooden kind of bookshelf that I had here, which was more of a functional piece than one that I really loved. So I was always kind of on the lookout for something different, and I found this one today and it's absolutely perfect. I feel like it really kind of brightened up this corner of the room. Luckily it fits perfect under my shelf on the wall and the TV clears it. I feel like it really opened up this space, and I actually have like access to my window now. And I ended up moving this plant over here, which kind of felt like the perfect spot for it. And it feels like that was kind of the last little thing that was needed in here. And I'm absolutely in love with it. So the next space we're going to talk about is the bedroom. And I've had a couple different iterations of this room since living here, but I think we finally settled on a design and a color pattern that I wanted to have in here. It's really important to me that my house kind of flows, so you'll see a lot of the same kind of tones, the same kind of moodiness. There's a lot of brass and black accents throughout the house too, and obviously a lot of green. So you're gonna see a lot of like muted greens. I tried to play with them in a way that didn't feel boring, that there's layers to it, there's textures to it that makes it interesting. First, I'll talk about the art piece above the bed. This kind of was the catalyst for the space. I wanted to have something that was a landscape, but very simple. I wanted very simple colors in it and something that just felt really relaxing. So that started it, which kind of trickled into the rest of it. This piece is one that I made a long time ago. I picked up one of the kind of like art metal rings that you can get at a craft store, and then I got yarn and I learned how to make kind of like a tapestry, but it was really simple. I picked like really beautiful chunky kind of yarn, and it's really soft, so it just adds a layer of softness to the room. These two records have been here since we moved in. Like I put them up pretty much day one. These are two of like my favorite albums from a couple of my favorite artists. So we have Gregory Alan Isakov and we have Bon Iver, or Bon Iver, depending on how you say it. But I really loved their album covers, and I thought the colors in it would work really perfect for the bedroom. So that's why I have them in here. Kind of a nice calming color palette. It has then the natural elements. I love pulling in nature and landscapes as much as I can. Next, we have my late Pop-Pop's dresser that he made that I was able to kind of restore. And I was able to get the brass handles back in their original condition. So they're just this beautiful brass now. They were really dark, almost like a bronze before. Very simple styling, very natural tones. We got this dresser not too long ago, and I wanted to make sure to pull in that kind of brass tone that we have throughout the house. So these handles were originally like a black, but I got these handles on Amazon and I thought it warmed up the dresser so much more, and it just kind of went with everything else. And I've had these mirrors for such a long time. They're like these little sunburst mirrors, and I feel like it's such a nice way to fill a wall without being overwhelming. So I kept them in here, plus bringing in that brass accent too, I feel like works really well in here. Plus they're very airy feeling. They're not like super bulky. For the bedding, I wanted something really kind of slouchy, really cozy, and that would get softer kind of with age. I ended up getting this beautiful kind of olive green duvet from Quince, and I also picked up their pillow shams for these two. It's not the same collection. These are more of like a quilted look, if you can see, but still in this really pretty olive green that has like a kind of creamy undertone, but they are linen, so they're super airy and they're warm when they need to be and cool when they need to be. Along with Casaluna pillows back here. Those are my favorite. These are the big like king Euro pillows that are so cozy, and I love having them to snuggle up with and also have as like the headrest in the back. And the colors are really nice. I love having the green and the white and the creams together. I did pull in more of a texture with this new blanket that I got Jacob. It's kind of like a taupe color as well, but it has this really fun pattern to it. And of course, I have little peaks of checkered throughout. This one kind of leans more like a gray purple, which I don't love. It actually looks more cream in person, but I still love it, and I love checkered, so it's staying. Pulling in more of like the vintage aspect throughout different spaces in my home has been something I've been trying to do more. So these little handles on our bedside tables are really kind of ornate, and they have this pretty kind of brassy bronze color to them. So I added those because I just love kind of mixing the vintage style with a little bit more modern kind of elements. Once again, we have dried eucalyptus because I love it. And it's just a very simple styling hack just to hang up some dried flowers or eucalyptus. I also really love kind of Japanese styled lamps. These are like little short squatty ones that I think are just such a cool element. They're not too crazy. They're very simple, but they put off the most cozy light. I love the little black base on it, kind of pulling in that darker element, but keeping that kind of linen texture throughout the shade. We also obviously have to have little steps for Mocha, just to help her out a little bit. So those have a permanent place at the foot of the bed. So that is the bedroom pretty much in a nutshell. It's very much similar in terms of the color palette that we have in the office, but a little bit more muted. I wanted this space to be very calming and very simple because life is crazy and your mind runs a million miles an hour all the time. You don't want it to be doing that when you're trying to calm down and go to sleep at night. So that's why I kind of went with this palette and vibe that I wanted in here. But let's move on to the bathroom. So unfortunately, our bathroom isn't that glamorous. It definitely serves its purpose, and that's all that it needs to do, but we don't have a window in here. which I wish we did because I would love to have natural light coming in here. We kind of made do, and I've been working on trying to make it feel a lot more functional because there's a lack of kind of storage space in here. There's elements that I have picked up and I've added in here to help with that. So starting off, I picked up this really sweet picture probably like a year ago, and this is my ideal little house. I want a little cottage kind of nestled into the forest, very whimsical, have all of these beautiful flowers kind of surrounding it, and this is me manifesting it. So I have it in here because I wanted to bring those elements of green and creams and whites into the bathroom too, and this one was absolutely perfect. One thing I always try to keep in mind too is that my art pieces can kind of work together no matter what room they're in. If I move them around or if we move someday and I want to have some of them near each other, they'll all kind of be able to play nicely. So that's why I pick a lot of the similar kind of tones within my pieces, and this one's definitely one of my favorites. I'm also always adding this kind of checkered look, and I think it's just a fun kind of pattern that's still really subtle because of the color palette that it is. It still is fun and it's not like crazy to look at. Kind of masked it with this more simple towel so it wasn't super loud, but we have this same kind of pattern on our shower curtain, so they kind of tie into each other. Over in this corner, if you watched my bathroom kind of update video, I picked up this storage cabinet that holds all of our kind of like detergent, our OxyClean, our iron, our dryer sheets, and it just kind of hides it away. And I ended up swapping out the little handles on it that are now like a brass, so it kind of pulls into the rest of the house. But it's just been nice to store cleaning supplies and whatnot, or excess like shampoos, anything like backstocks. We have some in there now. This was honestly like a big dead space where this is, and I didn't know what to put here that was tall. And when I found this cabinet, I thought it was perfect. The pattern on it really matches the doors that are throughout the house, so it kind of looks like it was meant to be here, which was the goal. Up top here, this shelf was here. I do have thoughts of making kind of like a wood cap for it that will wrap around it to kind of finish it off. Just depends on how long we're going to be in this place. We are renting, so there's certain things I can and can't do here. But for now, I ended up just getting these felt bins from Target that hold like our backstock of towels and toilet paper and paper towels. There's medical stuff up there, and the color kind of just blends into the wall and it's not like an eyesore when you're in here. I also found this little hanging shelf on Amazon that can hook onto these types of shelves. So I wanted to use that to use these two little bins down here. So I have like my claw clips and my scrunchies. And then I have like, I think it's like vacuum kind of attachments and stuff that we can easily grab. So that's this area. This is another kind of storage element that I added. We had this from our last place and brought it over here because it just works really well. We have kind of our cotton balls, cotton pads, Q-tips, that kind of stuff up here. Here is all of our kind of hair stuff, colognes, perfumes that we use regularly, or like lotions, and then just kind of more essentials on the bottom. I tried to make it kind of decorative in a sense of adding some elements of movement and color and wood, so there wasn't a whole lot of white. It felt like there was a lot of white going on top of just changing out these little handles too, which I have these handles in another spot too in the house, so it kind of ties it together. I think it looks really cute, it's functional, and it works, and we love it. So this is another art piece that I picked up. It reminds me of a blueprint image of a plant, and I thought it was so sweet. I loved the colors in it. I loved that it looked vintage, and if you know me, you know I love like pressed flowers. So this was something I really wanted to put in here, and especially because we had this kind of dead space between the mirror and this shelving unit, and this worked really well. As seen in my other bathroom video, this curtain was not here. This was completely open, and I went on Amazon and tried my best to color match these cabinets to this curtain color so it all looked like one unit and it wasn't like this big void underneath the sink, because our bathroom is ADA compliant, so a wheelchair could roll up and tuck their legs underneath of this sink. But I wanted to kind of disguise some more storage that's down there, so I ended up putting this curtain up with a tension rod. So these are two little curtains, not just one, but it works really well. It blends in and it made it look a lot nicer in here. It wasn't like super expensive. Now the counter isn't really all of that exciting. It's just all my essential stuff mostly. I picked up a really cute little organizer to hold my makeup and like my everyday stuff here. Then I have my toothbrush, mouthwash, that kind of thing, just normal stuff. And I always like to have a little bit of like a fresh flower. I do have another little propagation that I put up on the wall in here. It's actually doing really well despite the lack of natural light. Like I was talking about before, this is our shower curtain that goes really well with our little accent towel that we have in here. It was nice to bring another kind of pattern in here where it felt really soft and kind of chill. I wanted some kind of playfulness. So when I saw this curtain, I thought it was really nice. It still has the kind of neutral colors, but playful. Between the bedroom and my office, we have this little area within our hallway where it's kind of a dead end. We have this wall between that I really wanted to put a mirror. And I thought adding this kind of black round mirror would be perfect here. We've had it in our old place and it worked in the same way in our hallway. Just kind of makes the space feel longer, it feels taller, feels bigger. So we added that, and then we also added a little console table where I kind of just have fun decorating most of the time. I do have like a little lamp for at night, so we have kind of a nightlight in a sense down the hallway, and some old books that I thrifted. And it's just really special to have kind of thrifted books throughout the house too that are kind of vintage and have really fun colors and kind of like a distressed look to them. So I have a couple here. Also have on the next shelf down, which you can't see it quite yet, but we have the whole Harry Potter series with kind of like an updated jacket on them that's white, so it looks really clean and it kind of goes with our house a little bit more. This is kind of a fun zone for me to change up during the season. So right now I have my kind of everyday stuff out, but it kind of goes with the fall theme because all the colors I love kind of gravitate towards fall colors. So we have an amber jar, we have kind of this orange pop, just kind of whimsical stems that I like to have year round here. Now you can kind of see those white books. These are little sleeves that we got on Etsy actually, and it's a gal who designs the covers, the spines, and then the backs of these sleeves for the book so that, you know, it kind of looks a little bit more aesthetic. I know she had kind of like a cream color and then also had black, but I loved the white with the kind of black accent to it. I have yet to read all of them. I know I've seen all the movies, but my husband's read them and absolutely loves them. So we have them for when I'm ready to read them. You're probably going to be able to see yourself in the mirror, but here's a better look at what this kind of looks like down the hallway, not so close up. And I feel like it just kind of pulls this space together. It brings in the black elements that we have throughout the house too, and it's just a fun place to kind of decorate. Okay, so we were just down the hall where you can see that mirror. And now we are in the living room slash kitchen area. And in here, this was kind of one of the last places I really updated, and I'm still kind of updating it, but it's getting closer, which is amazing. We still are pulling in a lot of the kind of warm cream tones and playing with textures, playing with patterns, but ones that are very subtle, very calming. We'll start with the living room. Unfortunately, the lighting in here is really bad. We have to use a lot of kind of ambient lighting with all the lamps. We have 2 windows right by our door, and then we have a window on the door, but this wall doesn't have any windows, which kind of is a bummer. We've made the best with this kind of space and how to kind of lighten it up. So I'll kind of walk you through some of the new things that we've picked up for it. So this is obviously the star of the show. In a previous video of mine, I talked about picking this up from a local craft store of mine. It is massive. It's like a 41-inch by a 41-inch piece of artwork that was originally $110. I got it for like $27. It was the most perfect color palette and movement that I was looking for to kind of fill this space on this wall. In a previous video, you probably saw I had an old piece of artwork that we've had for such a long time that I loved it, but it had a lot of like icy blue kind of gray tones in it, and I am not really in that era anymore. I want warmth, and this really brought that. It also has all of this beautiful kind of like texturing to it. It looks like sand almost. I feel like it really fit this space really well. It made the ceilings feel really tall. It also feels like you're in a museum looking at a piece of art that is just on its own. It doesn't need anything else around it. It's just beautiful by itself. So I think we're gonna probably just leave it alone. I thought about putting a couple like sconces on either side or something, but it'd have to be very simple for me to do that. So that kind of pulled in some of the elements that we had already picked up for the space. In the living room makeover video, I've already kind of talked through these pieces, but I ended up picking up a bunch of different pillows, either from Target or ones that I already had. And they're in different forms of beige, but there are differences in texture, which is huge. So we have kind of a linen, kind of like a boucle fabric, and then we have this kind of folded, pleated kind of style. And then we have a couple more over here, pulling in more texture in the blankets. And then over in this corner, this is all of our kind of like vintage books. We have travel books to Scotland and Ireland. We're wanting to go to Scotland for our honeymoon finally in about a year, which that'll be our like 3rd year anniversary. So it's a long time coming, but we have a little travel book there kind of talking about the best places to go. So I've definitely been looking at that. I have this really beautiful vase that a coworker of mine got me because she knows how much I love checkered and I love the neutral checkered. So it's been fun kind of incorporating this natural checkered color kind of within my style, because I really love having that kind of a pattern but not being like too loud. So little pops like this I absolutely love. Obviously our record player is here. It's this beautiful kind of blue velvet, and I absolutely fell in love with it when we got it forever ago. I'm starting to wish it was green, but I feel like the blue is kind of a nice change up. So she's not going anywhere anytime soon, but I definitely use that all the time. We have a little cubby here that has all of our vinyls in it, so it's easily accessible to the record player. We added a little cozy lamp next to the TV to kind of light up this corner of the room too, along with our blanket ladder that just has comfy blankets. I ended up picking up this bench forever ago from TJ Maxx, and it's like the perfect bench for putting your shoes on, right next to the front door, and it pulls in that kind of boucle fabric that is on our pillows and this kind of dark walnut wood that's on it. And Mocha also loves to sit on it, so it's kind of a win-win. This is kind of our entry area. We tend to come in through the garage door the most, but we do come in our front door, obviously, some of the time as well. So we wanted to make sure this area was clear enough. We ended up moving an old entertainment center that we had in our bedroom before we got the dresser, and we put it out here behind the couch just to kind of be like a catch-all for our sunglasses, our wallets, our keys, that kind of thing. So it works really well out here, and this color actually pulls in the kind of darker woods that are throughout this space. So it worked really well, and we didn't have to pick up a new piece for right here. As you can tell, the plants are kind of scattered throughout the house. I kind of have them everywhere. I love pulling in that greenery and having that natural element in every space of the home. This is a piece that I fell in love with from, I believe, Wayfair. It's this little corner cabinet that I picked up specifically for this corner. I have always wanted a corner cabinet. I think they're so functional. I feel like it's kind of making the best use of a little corner as best you can, with also being functional on the top and within. So I mostly got it because we have our kind of cords and whatnot and our Wi-Fi situation right in this area, and I really wanted to just disguise it. So we actually have it in the bottom down here where there's a little like cutout for all the cords in the back, so you don't even see that, which is amazing. And then I wanted to add a lamp here, so when I wanted to read or hang out, there's still this light coming in next to the couch. We obviously have great light coming in right here from this window, so I wanted to add my plants here too. I wanted to make sure that these plants were getting the proper amount of light, and this works perfect right over here. And I love that they're kind of cascading. These are little pothos that love to cascade as they grow, so it works really well here. There's also a little spot for drinks if I'm having a chai or if I'm having tea at night. This is the perfect spot to kind of plop it, because there's no real like side tables on this side of the couch. So this also acts as kind of a side table too. Across from the corner cabinet is Mocha's tree. She's had this tree for so long, and it's honestly about time for her to get a new one. But this is the perfect corner for her to have next to the window. She can overlook the whole kind of kitchen and living room area and like yell at us from the top. So she loves it. But we have all her little toys and all her little like boxes that she goes and hides in right here, along with this little chair, which is one that I actually found on Facebook Marketplace for like 15 bucks. And I ended up repainting it and finding a little cushion for it to just be kind of a little guest chair in my office initially. But I ended up changing my office, so I didn't know what to do with it. We set it out here next to the front door, kind of as a dual purpose. It's another spot for you to kind of put your shoes on, but Mocha's kind of overtook it. So this is where she lays most days, but she loves it. It's right next to the window too, so she can kind of be our guard cat, but also take a little nap. So she loves that guy. Okay, so kind of transitioning from the living room area into the kitchen, we really love that it's kind of a open concept between the two spaces, kind of being able to entertain really easy, or just be able to like kind of interact with whoever's in the living room and in the kitchen. You know, it's just easy that way. It's not so blocked off. So we have our island here, and we really love the kind of color scheme that is within this kitchen. Very like warm. The cabinets are really dark, kind of like a dark walnut. We have this light kind of brown and cream, marbly kind of speckled countertop, and we wanted to play off of that a little bit, but also pull in our own style, obviously. So when we moved here, I had different bar stools, and they weren't really working in this space, so I ended up picking up these little saddle kind of bar stools just because they fit underneath this counter really easily, and I thought the color worked really well here too. Plus, these are really comfortable. So these were one of the first things we got for the space that was different. I'm kind of leaving the lights off because the lights are a little horrendous. I might change my mind, but these were chairs that we had at our other place that worked really well there. And they actually do work here too, but this mandala kind of pattern isn't really my vibe anymore. So we're thinking about getting different guest chairs out here eventually, but we love them for now, and they work really well with kind of like the color palette that we have. So we have 2 of them in here out of 4 that we have. We have 2 more in the garage. Okay, I decided to turn on the light, so it's gonna look a little yellow in here. But this little table was one that I bought for this place specifically. And I got it because there wasn't really room for a dining table here. So I didn't want something that obstructed the like walking path from our garage entry door into our kitchen. So I wanted something with a rounded edge that you were easily able to walk around, but also wanted this kind of dark wood to pull in to the cabinetry that we have. I picked up this little half kind of oval table from, I believe, Amazon actually, and it works perfectly here. We have it right off of the island, and it kind of nestles underneath of the island. It's the perfect spot to just have like a quick meal and have room that isn't the island. We do really love it, and it kind of feels like it's always been here. I love that it feels built in. Little details like these little salt and pepper shakers are so sweet to me with this kind of pressed flower look to it. Again, kind of pulling in that element in like multiple spots in the house. So these are kind of like a new addition to our kitchen. This wall has kind of been a love-hate situation for me. I don't really know how to design this wall. It's kind of an awkward space because you're coming in from the garage, so you can't have anything like obstructing you. You don't want to hit your head on something, you don't want the door to hit something. I brought these little floating shelves that aren't that deep out here because I thought it would work the best. And I incorporated just really simple decor pieces out here, pulled in like the color palette, the sign that I made for our wedding. I wanted to have that up here. And I always love having a candle, candlesticks, little candles flickering. It just makes it super cozy. So I really love these black candlestick holders, and then having kind of an organic shaped base with the speckling I fell in love with. And then over here I have my little yoga gal and a pressed flower that I framed. This is actually a card of mine. It's the goldenrod stem. I thought it was so pretty, so I wanted to frame it, and I stuck it out here. I don't know if it's gonna live out here, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. But these kind of change with the seasons. It's a really fun spot to decorate for Christmas, for fall, all of that kind of stuff. We hang our stockings off of these, so it works out really well. So this is our garage door that I keep talking about, where we come in from the garage, and right next to it is our little kind of coffee bar slash tea bar. So we have Jacob's little coffee maker, we have my tea kettle, and then this little coffee kind of cabinet. I had this at our old place, and it actually was like a TV stand there. And I ended up redoing it, kind of fixing some things that were wrong with it and repainting it this really beautiful kind of olive green. And I have the same little handles on it that I have in the bathroom. It pulls in kind of like this brass element. I ended up kind of frosting the glass on here so you wouldn't be able to see kind of what's inside. But we have this side full of tea. So this is my side with all the different tea types kind of organized in here. And then this is the coffee side. So we have coffee mugs, filters, that kind of thing in here. And then below is kind of like seasonal dishware, bowls, and then our little like bento boxes for lunches. Say hi. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? I know. I'm busy right now. She is mad because I'm not giving her attention right now. So this has been a really fun little element to have, just making it kind of cozy and having everything kind of in one spot. I kind of hinted to having another piece that I picked up when I picked up the big artwork in the living room and then the ones for my office. And this was the other piece that I picked up. This is so perfect by our coffee bar. It's kind of this linen little fabric that has this pressed brown kind of leaves and flower pattern on it. Very organic, very natural looking, and I think it plays well with all the other artwork that we have. Like I said, that's like really important to me. So we swapped out a piece that we had here before that was here since we moved in, and I feel like the warmth from this really kind of works well with everything else around it and with our green kind of cabinet here. I love bringing in that color palette whenever I can. So that was another piece that we picked up and I'm in love with it. So again, I apologize for the lighting in here. It's kind of the worst. Over here is where the island is, and then the rest of it is our kitchen. So you can kind of see the darker wood cabinets that we have, and I really love that. I love that the walls aren't stark white either. It's got this like warmth to it, kind of creaminess. It looks really yellow on camera because of these overhead lights, but it's not. So I love that we have a little window right by our sink, and then we kind of have like this area for prepping. We have a little spot next to the oven, and then it's mostly our island where we prep. There's nothing too crazy. It's a kitchen. We have our little canisters for like flour, sugar, and tea, salt and pepper shakers, oil, like all of that stuff lives out on the counter. We do have these really sweet pot holders that I got at a local shop here. They're kind of this thick knitted kind of material, and I love them. I have some coasters that are in the same kind of color, and I love them. Little touches like that I really love, just kind of funky pieces. Yeah, I mean, the kitchen's a kitchen. We do have our pantry here, which I have a pantry organization video that I put up a while back if you want to watch that. But we are so grateful to have this to organize all of our pantry stuff, because otherwise our storage in here is pretty limited. We are so grateful to have this for all of our other things. And then you can kind of see over on this wall, I have a couple of my little propagation stations because it's like right next to this window, and it's the perfect spot for putting little propagations. Right now I don't have anything in there, but I'm probably gonna add some more here soon. That's really it for out here in the main living area. I love that I can now film in this room and show you the artwork, because now you've seen it. I'm so excited. I love how everything is kind of coming together finally. There are some pieces that I'm looking for. I feel like in the living room, I want to get a different rug. I need something different out there. And then those chairs at our little like kind of dining room table, I'm trying to figure out the pattern that would go best in there. I feel like I've gotten to a really good place with the house, and it feels really close to being done. I'm so excited to finally share it with you guys. And be sure to watch all of the kind of makeover videos that I've been doing with the different spaces thus far. I'm sure I'm gonna have more things that I'm gonna wanna update, and I'll definitely take you along with me. It's been so fun to finally be able to bring it all together into one video for you to kind of see everything as a whole, and I hope you love it. I will see you guys so soon. The next video will most likely be decorating for fall. So that's why I'm in this top today, because I really want fall to happen. It keeps getting really hot outside and I'm ignoring it because it's September. The first day of September is fall to me. So we're just gonna keep rolling with that, and we're gonna decorate for fall, but that'll be really fun to do with you guys. And now that the house is kind of pulled together and decorated, it'll be fun to kind of add those fall elements to it. And I will see you guys so soon. I hope you have an amazing week ahead. Bye, guys.